This is Steve Colano, and this is Confidential Remarks. For decades, the industry established credibility through a specific aesthetic. Crystal awards, glossy brochures, and highlight reels were the primary signals of a successful career. That branding worked as long as sellers were focused on one specific question: is this agent experienced and successful? But today, the environment is different. Home sellers are seeing headlines about industry-wide lawsuits and debates over commission structures. They are entering the process with more information and more skepticism than previous generations. This shift in awareness has changed the nature of the conversation. Before a seller signs a listing agreement, they are trying to determine if an agent is working for them or for the system that pays the brokerage. While polished marketing can prove an agent's past success, it doesn't necessarily answer that question. In many cases, corporate messaging focuses on the agent's track record, while leaving the details of the seller's specific options in the dark. This lack of clarity is most visible in the pitch for a private listing. It is often presented as an exclusive high-end strategy for sellers who want to keep their property off the public market. The economic reality is exclusive often means restricted. You shrink a massive pool of potential buyers into a gated cluster. When fewer buyers see a property, competition drops, and basic market economics dictates that lower competition leads to a lower final sale price. If an agent recommends restricted exposure without explaining this mathematical penalty, they are no longer operating as a neutral advisor. They are prioritizing a different set of incentives entirely. The reason these recommendations are so common lies in the financial structure of the traditional brokerage. Real estate is rarely a conflict-free advisory relationship. This breakdown reveals the structural incentives at play, starting with double-end transactions. When a listing is kept private, the likelihood of the brokerage representing both sides of the deal increases, which can significantly raise the total commission they earn. Then there is inventory control. Keeping properties off the open market allows a brokerage to use those listings as exclusive bait to attract new buyer clients to their firm. Finally, private listing networks allow brokerages to share inventory among themselves. This actively excludes outside agents and their buyers from seeing the property, further centralizing the deal flow within a single network. These structures aren't necessarily malicious, but they do create a conflict of interest. If an agent doesn't proactively disclose these dynamics, they are effectively choosing the brokerage's revenue over the seller's equity. Because of these misaligned incentives, a different approach has emerged, known as the open access real estate model. This model shifts the agent's role from a salesperson to a true advisor. An advisor doesn't steer a client toward a specific outcome. They provide the data and the options necessary for the seller to decide for themselves. In this framework, a fast sale is only a success if the price was first tested against the full market on the MLS. Without that context, a sold sign doesn't prove the seller received the best possible deal. Transparency and the early disclosure of these financial conflicts creates a level of trust that branding alone. Moving forward, sellers can evaluate their representation by looking for specific operational standards before they ever sign a contract. These 5 pillars define that standard. Access defaults to the full public market. Disclosure reveals every incentive affecting advice. Choice presents all marketing strategies in writing. Finally, verification and accountability means supporting claims with independent data and documenting seller consent. If an agent avoids these topics or refuses to provide written detail, that silence is ultimately a signal the consumer should pay attention to. When trust is built on verifiable operating standards, it provides a level of security for the seller that branding and slogans can never replicate. This has been Confidential Remarks.